Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about event-driven architecture. And specifically, we are going to look into about S3, AWS S3 service, and then S3 events. What are the how we can manage S3 events with various AWS services such as Lambda, SNS, SQS, and Event Bridge. So, these are the services we are going to discuss about it. From today's session, specifically, we are going to discuss about handling S3 events with Lambda. So first in the session first part, we are going to focus on S3 related the features, core components, what are the services they are providing, and then second part we are going to discuss about we have a demo session. In that demo session, we will look into it how to build the event-driven architecture with S3 and Lambda using AWS CDK. So that is we are going to focus on in today's session. So yeah, yeah. So the component wise, what are the key components and key concept which S3 has is mainly it's object storage. So objects will be considered as our files, our like majorly it's the kind of majorly it's a file storage service. So our files everything will be considered as a objects. So all the objects will be stored into the buckets. Okay, so buckets are containers for storing the objects in S3. Each bucket has globally unique name across all the AWS. Buckets are region specific, but the name should be very globalized. You should not use the same name which is already exist, so that is not acceptable. And then buckets are region specific, meaning they are creating the specific AWS region. All the data are stored in the buckets, remains in the same region unless if we enable the cross region replications. Okay, so and then another one concept is object, which are fundamental entities, which is the basic unit of S3 bucket, which doesn't matter. The object is just like the data we are uploading it, data we are storing it in our buckets. Okay, so maximum object size, the particular object size, it can be 5 TB. Okay, so key is the particular object key is the full path of the to the object, including if you add any prefix, that's also will be considered as a uh, like a key. Key is nothing, just like your path of your S3 bucket. That's it. Where actually which folder under it, which folder it's being stored. So that is we are calling as a object key. Okay. So the next one, we can enable the versioning. Versioning is so we can track how many updates, what is the latest version of the particular object, what are the changes is happened. If we want to go back to the previous version of the particular object, that's also we can do it. Okay, it will provide the unique ID for your each version of your object. So based on that, we can easily recover the deleted object, or we can easily use the previous version object also, we can easily use it. So and then it provides access control. Access control generally it helps you to improve the security, improve the permission to access the particular object, and then that using that we can do it. And then it's considering as there are several access control it's providing it. Access control is basic access control mechanism to grant the read write permission to the users or AWS accounts. Okay, and then it has bucket policy. In the bucket level, we can restrict which operation the particular user can do it, and then particular account can do it. Okay, it's a kind of JSON based policies. Through that we can restrict the access, and then we can do the IAM policies also. We can create IAM policies by using AWS IAM. Okay, we can through that we can control our AWS resources, we can control it. Okay, and then what are the storage classes? Generally, what is the storage classes is it helps you to optimize your cost utilization in your the S3 bucket. Okay, for example, some of the files you frequently you want to use. Okay, some of the files it's not necessary. We can occasionally we can use the file. Some files we can archive. We get very long time only we are using it. Okay, so in that case, S3 provides various classes of the S3 storage. Okay, based on that we can move our files to the various classes. Okay, so for example, if you want high durability, frequently accessing data, you can keep your data into the S3 standard class. Okay, if you are not sure about how the data patterns being accessed, then you can use intelligent tiering. Okay, intelligent tiering based on the data pattern access, it will analyze it and then it will move the data to the particular storage class. It will move it. And then what is another storage class we have is it's a standard IA. It's a infrequent access, which is lower cost than the standard class. But with if you are considering the data sir is less frequently we are using it, but when you need it, it's very easy to access it. So you can the retrieval time it should be very less. So in that case, you can use infrequent access. And another storage class we have is one zone infrequent access. It's generally like a similar to standard IA class, but the data is stored in single availability zone. Okay, and then we have a glacier storage class also we have, which is very cost effective, but it's moreover it's we are using it for archiving the data, archival data. It will be moved to the the glaciers. Okay, so the retrieval time for from the glaciers it would be minutes to hours. So even glacier also they have a various um, types, which is like express, expediture, and standard. These are the types also there. Based on that, the retrieval time will be vary. Okay, and then we have a glacier deep archive. So the data is actually, if you are considering the data is not needed, with that particular data is not being used frequently, but we want the data for a very long time. For some historical data, we can move it to the deep archive. Okay, so but it's very cost effective, but the retrieval the date retrieval time would be very like it's around 12 hours to 45 hours something. It's the retrieval hours. Okay, so these are the storage classes S3 is providing it. Okay, and then we have life cycle management also. So life cycle management is we can set our own requirement. Based on, we can set the rule based on our own requirement to move our data from one storage class to another storage class. For example, let's talk about one of the use cases. So you are uploading some images in your S3 bucket. Default it has S3 standard. Okay, so and then you are generating some thumbnails from the base images. Okay, after generating the thumbnails, okay, you want move your data to um, move your base images to some other storage class. Like I'm not frequently using that. So then that case you can use the base images to some other standard IA or a glacier part also you can move it. So to do that, that transition between one storage class to another storage class, you can do it by lifecycle management. So you can create your policies through that the particular condition it occurs, it will move the automatically it will move the object from one storage to another storage. So that is the purpose of lifecycle management. So, and another feature, it's providing static website hosting. By default, you can host your static applications. It's actually provide the features to host your static website from the S3. You can upload your static websites like HTML, CSS, JavaScript files. You can upload it. Okay. Through this option, you can expose your website from the S3. So that's also it's providing it. Okay. And also we can set our own custom domains. That's also we can set it from Route 53, we can do it. And then if you are using CloudFront, it will distribute your it's which is the content delivery network. It will distribute your static content across the regions, across the globe. It will distribute it. Basically, it's a edge computing it. So it will catch your static images, static sites in the edge location of the user. So it generally it's distribute your static website across the globe. Okay, and then we have another cross origin resource sharing. So which is you are already your website is stored into the running into the some other port or something. Okay, some other port, some other server is trying to access the your content. In that case, the cars errors will occur. So through this option, we can enable cross settings. Also, we can enable it will allow to access your content from some other servers. Also, it can access it. Okay, so that is the option here. And then from the data security perspective, uh, there are two types of data encryption we have. One is server side encryption, another one is client side encryption. Okay, for the server side encryption, there are three different categories is there. First one, server side encryption S3, which is encryption key is managed by AWS by default for specifically for S3. When you're creating the separate bucket, okay, S3 will create the encryption key for the particular bucket. Okay, it will be managed by S3. You cannot edit that, you cannot delete, you cannot do anything. Okay, and then second option is key management system, which is a customer managed keys. You can create your own keys, you can set your own encryption rules, which account can encrypt, which account can decrypt, the policies also you can set it. So okay, so in this option is also that you can create your own bucket, and then you can create your own key, and then you can create your own restriction access policy, resource access policy, you can create it, and then you can set up the rotation, key rotations also you can set it. So that option also they are providing from AWS key management service they are providing. And another one is customer provided encryption keys. Customer, they will provide their encryption keys that will be stored in our like uh, like a S3 or somewhere it will be stored, or in a KMS also it will be stored. And then another one is another type of encryption is client side encryption. Data before moving into the S3, it will be encrypted at the client side, okay, and then it will be stored into in the encrypted format of data, it will be stored into the S3. So that is also another one of it, okay. And then another topic we have is data transfer, data acceleration, okay. So there are two types of options they are providing it for data transfer. If you are considering your data, the particular object is more than 100 MB, they are suggesting to use multi-part upload. Okay, so if it will chunk your data, and then it will upload the data parallelly. If any data transfer is failure, and then it will abort the transaction, and then it will uh, we can abort the transaction. Otherwise it can also retry the data upload, it can also do it. Okay, so and then data acceleration, generally data acceleration, it will help you to globally distributed edge location to speed up your data upload and data download, so that it really helps you to from one region to another region you are trying to upload the data. Okay, through the data acceleration, it's very easy, it will speed up your data transfer, it will do it. Okay, so yeah, what are the other concept it's providing is, which is event notification. The events are nothing when the particular what are the changes is happening, what are the actions is happening in the S3, that's we are considering as the events. Okay, so when the particular action it's happened, what we will do. Okay, so for example, if I uploaded some files, okay, I should trigger some action, I should do some actions, I will get the latest file, and then I will do some process, and then I will store the results, or I will pass the results to some other service, or I will store the result into the same bucket or some other bucket. That kind of our own functionalities, right? So that we can do it from events notification. S3 can trigger the notification to SNS, SQS, Lambda, which can certain even occur, such as object creation and deletion. Okay, so that's also we can handle it. ES3 events also we can handle it. And then for logging and monitoring purpose, access logs, it has logs or all the requests made to your S3 bucket. Cloud try logs also we can enable. We can track the API calls, and also tried their associated details also we can get it. CloudWatch monitoring also, metrics also we can track it, monitor performance such as request counts, data transfer, error rates, that's everything we can monitor. Okay, and then for a data replication, there are two types of data replications we have. First one, cross origin data. So let's talk about same origin data replication. You have a bucket, you have a two buckets which are present in the same bucket, same region. Okay, so you are uploading the data into the bucket A. Okay, you want automatically the data should be replicated to bucket B, which is in the same region. We can do it through same region replication, we can replicate the data. Other than you want to replicate the data to some other bucket which is available in some other region, so then that case you have to enable cross region replication, you have to enable it. Okay, yeah, then next, okay, now let's talk about the demo part. Okay, so this is the architecture, this is the application we are going to build from AWS CDK. Okay, we are going to create the S3 bucket. Okay, and then we are going to create the Lambda. Okay, so when there is a new file uploaded in the orders folder, okay, then the Lambda will be triggered, and then it will get the file, and then it will just display the content. So that is the part we are going to look into it. So let me share my screen again to check the code. Okay. So in the previous sessions, we already discussed about AWS CDK and then how to uh, create the Lambda function, most of the things, how to build the serverless application, everything we discussed. So in this video and then coming the following videos, the next 2 to 3 videos are will focus on event-driven architecture. We are going to focus on it. Okay, so in this AWS CDK code, first we are creating the S3 bucket, and then here we are creating the Lambda function, and then here we are adding the even adding the event notification, and then it triggers the uh, processing Lambda function. Okay, and then when it actually triggers when we are uploading the files to orders folder. Okay, the prefix is orders, then the Lambda will be triggered. Okay, and then the role we are it has the when we are creating the Lambda, it has some execution role, and then we are providing S3 read-only access. So we are providing the access to Lambda, so then it can easily read the file from the S3, and then it can process the file. It can get the file data. So that we are doing it at the permission we are providing it. So that's it. So in the bucket, we are just creating the bucket. The bucket name is processing bucket, and then the removal policy. The removal policy is nothing from the CDK. We are allowing it to remove that bucket. Okay, so that is the purpose of using this removal policy. And then here the Lambda processing Lambda. So it just the function name we are mentioning it, and then runtime. These are all. Uh, the some of the values are config mentioned in the config folder configurations file. So the stack name, file name, memory size, maximum duration, and then code path, like where actually my Lambda code is available, and then handler, what will be my entry point of our the Lambda file. Okay, so that everything is configured there. And then here line number 43, we are when object created event triggers. Okay, and then I'm under the folders of orders. I am actually calling the processing Lambda function. Okay, so I'm just taking the Lambda role, and then I add the managed policies. I'm just assigning the policies. So yeah, I'm granting the read permission to my Lambda. So let's go to the Lambda code. It's just nothing. So I'm using AWS like a SDK. Okay. So to communicate and access the AWS services, generally CDK is helping you to create the services, and then SDK is helping you to do some actions in your AWS services. Okay, so like I'm just get the S3 events, and then I'm just displaying it. So that is what I'm doing it here. So yeah, I think the code wise that's it. So now let's deploy this infrastructure. CDK send. So it will create the CloudFormation template for your CDK code. And then now let's CDK deploy. Okay, so it just list out what are the services I'm going to deploy. So you can just verify it and then you can approve it. Generally, it will take sometimes. Okay, yeah, it's done. Okay, now let me share my screen again to check the AWS resources. Okay, so it looks the resources are deployed. So let's go to the S3. We should see the processing bucket, correct? Yeah, we can see the developers series stack processing bucket. We can see it. And then let's go to the Lambda. So here we can see developer series stack processing function. Okay. So it get the events from S3. So that is the mapping. We did that in our CDK code. So now let's create the folder and upload some files. So what is our constraint we set? Under the orders folder, if any files are added, then the event will be triggered, correct? So creating the orders folder, and then let's upload some file. 16. Yeah, upload. Let's upload this PDF file. Okay, so now file upload is done. Now let's go and check the Lambda, the monitoring, and then CloudWatch logs. So today is 13. So this is the latest one. So here we can see which file we uploaded, the file uploaded. So this is the file we uploaded S3 even process successfully. So this is the message we are consoling in our Lambda. Yeah, and that's it. So this is how the Lambda um, triggering processes happen. Okay, so this is how we have to configure our S3 events with Lambda through AWS CDK. Okay, so the resources wise, all the resources are available in our GitHub. Okay, so we can go and check this repository, developer series. So here you can see the branches. When you check the S3, so the updated code is available, you can use it. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. So that's it about this session. Okay. So we will meet in the next session. Mostly the next 2 to 3 videos are we are mainly focusing on event driven architecture with various AWS services. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.